Full-time Devils Barcelona preview. Let's get straight into it. Noel's here, Scotty's here making his preview debut, and you all know Abdul, don't you? Right, Barcelona Champions League quarter-final. Doesn't get that much bigger than this, does it? First thing to go into today, guys. Do we have to win this game? A lot of pressure being put on it, but maybe we could get out of this one with a 0-0 draw and be happy. Abdul, what do you think, mate?
Personally, I think even if you get a 1-0 or 2-0 at home, you still, Barca have probably still got the advantage on you. At the new camp, they're a completely different animal. You look at in the previous Champions League seasons, at home, I think they beat Roma 3-0, or was it 3-1? And then they're going to Roma, and obviously then they're losing the game. So, away from home, you can get them, and I think we can beat them. I actually predict us to beat them at home. It's all about that away game, and I think it's important that we don't concede at home. If we get a 2-0, I think that puts us in contention because I think they're always going to score at the new camp, 100%.
I don't know. I think I'd be very confident if we kept a clean sheet in this one. I think that's like the most important thing. I'd be
a 1-0, 2-0 would give us, a goal in the new camp. It'd give us more of a chance. But I personally think even if you go in, even with the upper hand, to the new camp, Barca is still going to be the favourites overall. So I think we can beat them at home.
I tell you, man, I'd be really confident.
I think it's just about the new camp for me. I'm not confident going there. I know it's crazy thinking about the second game, even though this is the one that's coming in 2 days and that. But I think it's important that we get two goals is very important for me. Make sure we keep the clean sheet. If we keep the clean sheet, a goal is good. But if they score, we definitely need to have the upper hand and at least leave with the win, obviously, going to the new camp.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we played them in the semi-final in 08, and the first leg was at their place, wasn't it? And 0-0. Yeah. And then I remember after that being just like, I don't know how we're going to get through this. 0-0, they come to Old Trafford, they score a goal, and instantly they're the massive favourites. Obviously, we managed to keep 2 clean sheets, which I just can't see us doing this time. Noel, what do you think? Do you think we're going to go all-out attack and try and win this one, or do you think we're going to sit back a little bit, try and come away with the draw?
Yeah, to be honest, I think we should go all out and try and get that, get those goals. But it's so hard to be confident. It's Barcelona. They're a massively good team. They're always high pressing. We've seen what they did at Spurs and stuff, and they're terrifying, if I'm honest. But I'm going to try and be as positive as I can. I do think we could, if we keep our composure, I do think we could get a clean sheet. Hopefully, maybe even score a goal. But yeah, it's just very worrying when it's Barcelona. They're just the best in the world, really.
We've got Scotty here making his preview debut. Scotty, you may have seen him on MUTV in the past. He's like Manchester United's resident poet at the minute. Scotty, what do you think of this one, mate? All-out attack or what?
I think it's dangerous to play for a 0-0 and clean sheet. If you look at what Barcelona did at Lyon, I think it was 0-0, and then they went to the new camp and got battered 5-1. I think we've got the personnel in the team to... I think they conceded 4 in the Barcelona against Villarreal a couple of weeks ago, so they've got a bit of a dodgy defence. If Martial, Rashford and Lukaku can get some sort of goals, we need a decent lead to go to the new camp, because like the other two said, if we go over there and we've got a 0-0, it's just playing into their hands, I think. But we've got to go for the win.
I'm in 2 minds. I honestly don't think that we will go for the win in this one, and I'm actually not too fussed about that. I think we'd maybe be playing to Barcelona's strengths a little bit if we went too much for it in the first leg. If we can come out of that first leg without conceding, I'll be very confident in that second leg, because I always think we can get a goal, and if we get one early on, puts them right on the back foot. Who knows? It does get spooky, though, at times, football. 20 years since the treble this year. These sort of dates always come up with United, don't they? These really weird numbers, like we won it for the first time, didn't we, the European Cup 10 years after Munich. And then when we won the treble in 99, it was on Sir Matt's 90th birthday. So with it being 20 years after the treble, Noel, it's pretty much written in the stars, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be the ultimate love story, to be honest. Like, it would be unbelievable, and the fact that Ollie is here and stuff, it gives us that kind of excitement. Any Man United fan thinks of it and dreams of that, but obviously we don't want to get our hopes up, but it's kind of hard not to get excited at that, isn't it?
It is. Do you think that those sort of dates don't really mean an awful lot, and it's just us over romanticising football?
No, I'm very much the I let all. I'm very. What's the word? I think of numbers and I get real into that. I'm very superficial, so yeah, I'm trying not to let myself get excited, but I am.
Fair enough. Abdul, do you pay much attention to that, or do you just think it's just nonsense that people come out with?
No, I think you do a little bit, obviously, because the romance of football, like things like that, come back around. You got Oli won us the Champions League 20 years ago. He's now the manager, and we're in the quarterfinals, so we're not completely out of it. I know we've got Barcelona, but it does make you think like it could just be obviously written in the stars that, especially when you go past Paris like that it could be the one where we win it. Obviously, after Sir Alex is gone as well, so. Yeah, it's sort of written for it, but I do believe it does give a nice feel to football when you have that hope of something coming back around like that.
Well, I was going to say, people have spoken, I mean, mainly opposition fans, about it being, some over romanticised thing at United with Ollie coming back and it's never actually going to work. But there's just something which feels nice about having a club legend, like we say, 20 years ago, won us the lot, now at United. It gives me a bit of a feeling like something could actually happen. What about you, Scotty?
I'm probably going to be cynical up until the first whistle, and then I'll be all romantic saying we can do this. I know that there's not enough romance in football these days, but you've got to try and keep your feet on the ground. But I also look at the Chelsea situation where Di Matteo went back to Chelsea, and they were written off to win the European Cup that year, and I could see, I don't see why we can't win it. But I think I've just been disappointed too much to read too much into numbers.
Just, I really hate it when someone brings up Roberto Di Matteo, though, because it always reminds me of that. No, only because of that time. That it makes me sad, mate, because it reminds me of that time he won the European Cup, and I remember him holding Abramovich like, "We did it! I did it! I did it!" And then he was sacked 4 months later. Oh, I don't know. Still feel a bit sorry for him for that.
Can you imagine the same thing happening with the Glazers and Solskjaer?
Yeah, I could. That's the thing. I really, really could. But let's not go into that now. Predicted 11 times. It's never going to happen because Solskjaer is going to win the European Cup and then probably next year's as well. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. Right then, predicted 11 times. Scotty, who are you playing against Barcelona, mate?
I'm going for De Gea, Shaw, Young, Smalling, Lindelof, Matic, Pogba, Rashford, Lukaku. I think Mata's going to play, and then I've gone for Martial.
Nice.
I think we've got to go attacking. I know like you're talking about was trying to hold on for a 0-0, but for me, I think we're going to pick an attacking team and go for it.
No, that's what it's all about, mate. It's all about opinions. If you think we should go all out attacking, then you think that, and that's your team. Abdullah, I'm really scared that somebody in today's preview is going to give me the back four, the dreaded cursed back four of Valencia, Jones, Smalling, and Young. Are you going to do it?
Obviously not.
Oh, mate, it could happen, though. It could happen.
Nah, mate, not even thinking about it. That's a nightmare, that. The last time I think those four started together must have been like the FA Cup final, I think it was. And we all know how that ended. So,
yeah.
Personally, I've gone for De Gea in goal, Luke Shaw, Smalling and Lindelof, Ashley Young at right back, sort of the back four that we've been going off recently, been on and off, obviously. In midfield, I've gone for Matic, Herrera, and Pogba. And I think the reason I've gone for Herrera, and I think Herrera could possibly be the most important player in this team, in this game, because if you look at Atletico Madrid the other night when they played them, the reason, even though they were 10 men for about 70 minutes or 80 minutes or whatever it was, the reason they stayed in the game because they were stopping Messi, and it's because they had the likes of Saul Niguez and Thomas Partey with that energy and the work rate. I don't think anyone in our midfield has that, and I think Herrera could be the one that can at least stop Messi, advancing in midfield and bringing the ball from midfield into the attacking line. So Herrera has to play for me and be part of stopping Lionel Messi if he can do that. But he's the only chance defensively to stop Messi, so he's got to start. In the front line, I'm going to go with Romelu Lukaku, Marcus Rashford, and Jesse Lingard.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening with Anthony Martial recently. I understand a lot of people don't rate Romelu Lukaku and he's let people down at times this season. But I think we do need someone in and around that box, and I think we had that problem against Wolves where there was no bodies in the box, and I think Lukaku will provide that. And I think if he bounces back, if he gets a goal against Barca, that's huge for him. He's a big confidence player, and that actually has a big effect on what happens in the league and what happens in the Champions League in the next game against Barcelona. We've seen his game against Crystal Palace away, and after that playing against Southampton, getting the goals there, and then going to Paris and getting 2 goals there, taking both his chances, the only chances that he had all game. And he is a confidence player, but when he's firing Romelu Lukaku, and I think the work rate that he provides him and Marcus Rashford that they gave us in Paris was class. I've really questioned Lukaku's work rate over the past few weeks, but in that Paris game, I'll have to say he works hard, and he lived up to the occasion that night in Paris. So I'd love Rom and Marcus to start, and Jesse to be there, pressing Busquets. Don't let Busquets rest on the ball. I think that's what's important. So I'm going to go with Rom, Marcus, and Jesse.
Totally agree with what you said then, mate. I'd like to see Rom in this one. Could be a big game for him, and I think he'd be very effective for us. Noel, what do you reckon? Who is Ollie going to start against Barca?
Yeah, for me, David De Gea, Shaw, Lindelof, Smalling, and Young on the right. Pogba, Herrera, and Matic. And then, it's a tough one, but I'm going to say Martial, Lukaku, and Rashford.
Interesting, some good teams. Noel, you know what, actually, we're going to stay with you here because we're about to talk about the opposition in Barcelona, and you told us before the preview today, your partner's a Barcelona fan, so that's going to be a very awkward Wednesday night / Thursday morning in your household, Noel.
Very, very. I've always liked Barcelona just because, when I was a kid, my dad would go and buy me a Barcelona jersey from holidays, stuff like that. So I've always had a soft spot for them. But then obviously my partner came into my life and she's Spanish, so she's a raging Barcelona fan. And I was like, this is going to be awkward if we ever play each other in the Champions League and stuff, because we're both football mad. And so when the draw came about, I actually did a video about it, and I was saying, we're going to get Barcelona. I know we are. And we did. And since that day, I think it's 2 weeks, there's been nothing but tit for tat, trying to annoy each other. I swear, it's a nightmare. So I'm just really hoping we can do it so I can get one over on her, because it's going to be awful if they knock us out.
I was going to say, I do hope you've got a comfy couch for when we do thrash them 4-0. What can you actually tell me about Barcelona then, Noel? Who've they got in there that, I mean, we know a lot about Barcelona's team, obviously, but is there anyone in particular that we have to look out for? I mean, I know they've got an Argentinian lad who's all right.
Yeah, no, he's all right. I do think he's the Pichichi. So Messi and Suarez have 53 goals combined in La Liga this season. Both of them are the top scorers in La Liga. That is nuts.
That is ridiculous.
Combined, yeah. So, they're already terrifying as it is. As well, their bench, if their starting 11 isn't terrifying enough, their bench is brilliant also. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but Malcolm, he's quite a good player. He's turned out quite good for them this season. And Busquets, brilliant in the midfield. Gerard Piqué as well. He's a great defender, and he can score goals on occasion with his head. So it's just very worrying. They have a great team, but just once we can try and close them off, if we can get Messi man marked, which is going to be very, very difficult because he's all over the place. He's, I don't know if you watch, but when he's watching the game, the first few minutes, he's just analysing everything, and then he goes. He's a machine. He's out of this world, so that's going to be very scary for us.
The man is a genius, and he's one of the few players, the few non-United players that I'd always say try and get to see him at some point in your life. You want to see Messi live at some point. I think I've seen him tear us apart. Well, I've seen him tear us apart twice, but I've seen him play us 3 times now, and just what a player.
Yeah.
Scotty, talk to me about Barcelona then, mate.
I think we should be looking towards their defence. I think Abdullah mentioned Busquets. I think if Lukaku plays, we've got to be quite physical. And I think we could take that into the second leg if we do get a decent run at Old Trafford. I think they got beat by Girona in the League Cup final. Like I said, they got defensive. They conceded 4 against Villarreal. So for me, we're looking at the Barcelona team. Obviously, we can concentrate on the likes of Messi and Suarez. But I think if you concentrate too much on them players, we're going to lose our own sort of game plan. So we need to sort of press hard against their weakened defence. And I don't think they get tested much in Spain either, to be honest. There's Real Madrid have had a bit of a dodgy season. And Atletico didn't put up much of a fight going down to 10 men at the weekend. So for me, I think if we bring a physical game towards our defence, then we could be on something.
We've certainly got the types of players who can really take advantage of a lapse in concentration as well, which maybe that Barcelona defence could be liable to. Abdullah, what do you reckon about them, mate?
I agree with what Scotty said, actually, is bang on in terms of their defence. If you look at that Villarreal game, the 15th team in La Liga, looking to get relegated, you know, they obviously, of course, they concede 4 goals against them, and then they do end up getting, obviously, Suarez and Messi end up scoring as well, so that goes back to your point, Noel. So they've been getting all the goals, and it's just a bit of a mixture. And like you said, when there's a lapse of concentration, other teams, we seem to pounce on that, just like we did in Paris. And hopefully Rom and Rashford are on that. And I think providing that bit of physicality that Rom has, and Marcus Rashford, who can give you the width and who'll run all game and press the defence, I think we can, you know, catch on to them. It's all about stopping Messi for me. If you stop Messi, you win the game. It's really as simple as that. But it's not.
Suarez is going to score 5 goals now you've said that.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, for me though, like Suarez had a brilliant moment against Atletico the other day. Messi was poor, Suarez was poor, but then they both scored right at the end of that game against Atletico Madrid. And from what I noticed, I think you got to look at Piqué as well at the back. I think he's their main centre back. When they missed him against Villarreal, when he was out, he's their main centre half. He's their main man. This season he's won like over 70% of his tackles. He scored 4 goals. He's had 2 assists. He's actually been brilliant all season. He's had a couple of odd seasons in the past where he's not been the best, but he's been their main guy. So I'd be targeting Lonley and Roberto as well. I think Sergio Roberto, whoever's on him, can get the beating of him. I think as well with Rakitic and Roberto setting up at times on the same side, and Messi loves to drift in the middle, and we're very left heavy. So I think if Paul Pogba and if Anthony Martial plays and Luke Shaw can take advantage of that, it's the opposite to PSG. PSG had Marquinhos on that side, Dani Alves, and they had Kea, and they locked it up at Old Trafford. But it's going to be the other way around. So if Pogba does start on the left side, usually I want him to switch on the right a bit more. But this game, I'd love to see what we can do and how we can take advantage of Barcelona in terms of, you know, having Rakitic in there. I think Pogba can outshine him. Hopefully he has a good game. But there's definitely areas where he can beat Barca. It's just about, like I said, you stop Messi, and then you got Suarez as the other man. That if you stop those two and you take advantage of any mistakes, you win the game.
Okay, then score prediction time. No matter what the score is, I don't think we should be 100% sure that we're going through the tie. But Noel, what do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with a boring 1-0 win to Manchester United.
Hey, that's not too boring. Wait till you hear mine. You already know what it's going to be. Abdullah, what's yours?
I'm going to go 2-0 United.
2-0. Have that. Scotty?
Yeah, same with Abdullah. I've gone for 2-0 as well.
I would love for us to win this game with a clean sheet, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go with 0-0, which I will actually be quite happy with, to be honest. So guys, thank you for joining us on the preview today. Let the people watching at home know where they can find you. Abdullah, where are you?
On Twitter, Abdul Galeo. If you can spell my name out, I'll probably whack it in the comments for you guys to help you out.
You'll see it somewhere below. Scotty, where can people find your stuff, mate?
Go on Twitter. It's @argh kid.
I like that. I like that. Oh, I've just realised which Twitter account you are as well. I always see you popping up on my timeline. I'll give you a follow today now. Noel, where can people find you?
I'm on YouTube. It's Noel Francisco, and I'm on Instagram as well. It's nfrancisco90.
Go and check the guys out, and hopefully we are all going to be in the best mood ever on Wednesday morning, apart from Noel's partner. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Ryan Giggs, and you're watching Full Time Devils, the biggest, the best Man United fan channel in the world. Subscribe now.